How's it going, guys? Well, welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to Steinsgate, my darling's embrace on the Mayuri route. Last time we were saved by her. We nearly drowned. It was actually really pretty close, like when it comes to like real life dangerous situations and things that can happen. It was really interesting to talk about. And then just seeing that, and like not only did she save us, but then afterwards, like she was noticed by Moeka and her publisher, manager, I'm not sure exactly the position was, but she got noticed and said like, hey, we'd like to invite you to help us do a photo shoot to promote this place during Christmas special. And Mayuri's very kind of like, I don't think I want to do that, but like everyone agrees like she has like the capabilities down, and she looks gorgeous, which Okabe struggled to like allow himself to think, but she just doesn't seem interested. So yeah, things are proceeding forward as planned, and I guess it looks like we're riding home with Mayuri on this particular evening, and we're just gonna kind of sit back, relax, and enjoy this adventure. Of course, like I'm curious how it's all gonna play out from here. Sorry, I knocked something over. So I don't really have any predictions for what this episode's gonna really be. It's just kind of it here, so let's just see what happens. I decided to go home for the night. All the other lab members are heading home too, so there wasn't much for me to do anyway. Daru normally stays at the lab overnight, but today he left early, saying he had something important to do. Oh, ComiMa. We haven't had a ComiMa section in this in a while, but that would make sense if we're having the Mayuri storyline. ComiMa is a 3-day event held twice a year, Tokyo Big Site Ariake. Rife with the fan comics and cosplayers, it's not my scene, so I've never been, but Daru and Mayuri go to each one. Daru is a particularly big fan. I don't know what he does exactly, but he says he spends the 3 days without sleeping. Fetch.
Mayuri mo ikuno ka? Ashita.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
そんなものを作ってるから間に合わなかったんじゃないのか?
I pointed to Robo Mayushi in her bag. If she hadn't worked so hard on that, she could have finished her costume. Maybe, but still, Robo Mayushi's amazing.
そうかもじゃないだろう。やけにこだわってるんだな。
Let her dream, man. Aww. Oh, she's so cute.
え？なあ、本気で俺にくれる気なのか？それ。
Dude, she made personalized messages for you. It talks about Okabe. It's obviously not for anybody else. Come on, man. I know you're thick, but come on. I could see the sadness in Mayuri's eyes. It's not a look I normally see on her, so I start feeling uncomfortable.
いや、ダメとかそういうことではないぞ。法院教魔は世界に混沌をもたらす恐怖のマッドサイエンティストであるが、決して無慈悲な悪魔ではない。ラボの一員がせっかく作ってくれたものならありがたくいただいておく。本
当？ Yeah.
もちろんだ。
嬉しいな。ありがとう。
Of course. Once she said that, Mayuri began stroking Robo Mayushi's hair. We spent the next few minutes without saying a word. While I was looking out the train window at the illuminated city, something soft fell upon my shoulder. I turned to look and saw Mayuri's head resting there. Aww.
Mayuri?
She's sleepy. Let her have her nap. Aww. She's fallen asleep. Hang on. Every game's a little different. Like the buttons you push to make things like phase in and out are a little different. Hey, she's so cute. A little Mayushi. Between her costumes and Robo Mayushi, she must not be sleeping much. There's something really soothing just about like people who are sleeping. Like, that's kind of one of the interesting things you learn, like when you like are living with somebody else, like super close. Like, I mean, obviously snoring can be disruptive, but you know, if you don't have to contend with that, there's something relaxing about just knowing somebody's there and that they're comfortable and resting. I don't know, it's pleasing in a way. Especially in a like an endearing way, but like, I don't know, you're vulnerable when you sleep, and so being able to trust somebody enough to like be able to fall asleep around them, like it's a weird thing, but it's actually meaningful in a way. Perhaps due to our thin summer clothes, I could feel her body heat. On this overly air-conditioned train car, only the place where our bodies met was warm. A gentle fragrance rose from her neck and chest and tickled my nostrils. I think it's her natural scent, just like the Nai pointed out this afternoon. It smells kind of like warm milk. Is that a pleasant smell? Mayuri's balance was being thrown off by the motion of the train, causing her to groan in her sleep. After slightly readjusting her body, she leaned back on my shoulder and went back to sleep. It's not that big of a deal. Whenever she moved, the chest area of her clothes would open up slightly, and when I looked down, I could see brief flashes of what looked like a bra. Oh, come on. Are you I guess he kind of isn't. He's not, is he in high school still? I can't remember. I always think he's like just graduated or about to graduate. Come on, man. Whatever. Oh boy, this isn't good.
Ohon. Mayuri?
But she doesn't answer. The only response was her breathing. Come on, okay, wait. If you're that uncomfortable, just don't look. Wait a minute. What am I looking at? Why am I? I'm old perv? Yeah, exactly. I tried to shake the dirty thoughts out of my head and proceeded to pat her on the shoulder to wake her up. Aww. Mayuri's cell phone suddenly vibrated in her bag, which caused her to jump up in surprise. She looked around dumbfounded for a moment, oblivious to the fact that she had fallen asleep. Yeah.
Oh.
She realized that she was leaning on me and quickly moved away while blushing. She quickly adjusted her clothes. Hey, no problem. Yeah, I mean, come on, like, get the rest you need. Go get some sleep, girl. Mayuri covered her mouth and quietly yawned.
池袋に着いたら起こしてやるからもう少し寝ててもいいぞ
Ikebukuro. Aw, did I get... Mayuri finally checked the cell phone that had woken her up. She had a text.
始圧師から
Yeah, I bet. She's not gonna give up.
無理なものは無理ってな
Possible. You already said yes.
どうした
When I asked, Mayuri hesitated before telling me something astonishing. I mean, I'm a little surprised because you seem so adamant against it, but go for it.
何
I said that far louder than I expected to, drawing the attention of the riders around us. Poor form, Okabe, poor form.
なんと言った今
Cool.
始圧師に無理やり説得されたのかだったら俺が断ってやるぞ違
違うよ。自分でそう思ったの。
なんで？
萌香さんの話だとね、モデル料が結構たくさん出るみたいなんだ。それがあれば電気代とかの足しになるかなって。
She always is so concerned about others. I frowned a bit in response to Mayuri's answer. Does it mean she's doing this for the lab?
お前はそんなことしなくていい。
でもね、今までオカリンやラボの役に立ててないから、今回は頑張るのです。
But you do so much for the lab, you don't even know. Mayuri's smile left me at a loss for words. I obviously want to make a lot of money for the lab, but I don't think asking her to do something like this is the right way to go. When I told her this, Mayuri nodded.
だけど、マユシーはオカリンのためにまだ何もしてないから。
No, you do tons.
そんなことはない。お前は人質として十分役に立っている。だから、そんな風に言うな。な、とにかく断れ。
But at the same time, like, she wants to help. She wants to feel like she's contributing in a way that she can contribute. Like, she might not recognize how she contributes, but I mean, when you can see things like Daru being the super haka, or like Kurisu, who jumped in and is now like the head of the lab effectively. Ferris, who like she runs her own store. Suzuha, who's a part-time worker, but she's not even that heavily involved with the lab bench, to be honest, at least at this timeline. And like Luca, who's like works at the shrine, like again, Luca also isn't a heavy contributor at this time into the lab, but Mayuri just probably feels like she just kind of hangs around. Like, everyone likes to contribute, and I get that, I really do, but she does a lot more on the side of like morale and boosting people up than anything else. Mayuri mumbled a vague reply. ComiMa's running a Tokyo big site for the next 3 days. What message did I get? I kind of want to get a new phone. I bet you must go through phones like nothing. Your typing skills probably do a number on the keypad. It's true. But this is interesting because she wants a new phone, but that was something that was like tied to her like request for a D-mail. So why is she telling us about that now? I'm not sure that the two things are related, but it feels like there are less people in Akihabara today. I hardly had to wait at all to get my lunch in Sambo. Naturally, Daru was absent from the lab. I'm sure he's standing in a long line somewhere and around Big Site. Did you not sleep?
ねえ、ここわかった？マユリちゃん。さっぱりだよ。ルカ君は？僕も。
Uh-oh. On the lab table is stacked a pile of summer homework and Mayuri's still unfinished costume. Mayuri and Lukako look perplexed.
オカリン、この問題はどう解けばいいのかな？
Wonder what it is.
どれ？
She points at it for me. It's a mess of equations and symbols that I struggle to remember when I was a high school student. Okay, so he's not actually in high school right now. I felt like seeing a boss that you struggled to beat in a video game come back for a second round just when you forgot his patterns. Oh, that sounds horrible.
Nani? 数学？物理？
Oh, Kurisu here? Oh, we're good. Kurisu walked into the lab to see us all huddled around by Yuri's homework.
あ、クリスちゃん。てってるー。こんにちは。今日はね、科学の宿題なのです。
Ah, chemistry. I like chemistry.
ケミストリーか。それは専門外だな。
Kurisu crossed her arms and took a look.
あ、でもこれならわかるかも。鉄の原子量って 55.85 だから炭素の 12.01 と比較してモルで計算してみると
Oh yes, moles and mole math. Yeah, mole math is interesting, but all you really need to remember is the conversion formulas, which I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's like there's a particular fraction with the mole conversion rate, which is really cool what you can do with it with atomic weight. It's like it's really awesome too, because chemistry is really interesting, and like it highlights the perfection and imperfection of the universe, where you can like predict pretty much down to the molecule if you combine two reactants together in pure forms, and like you know what they will be like, what their like reactant form and excess will be. You can almost get it down to the milligram of exactly how much material you have when you start and how much you end with into various proportions, because everything's proportionate, which is really cool that the universe is so orderly like that. But then there's also just this fact that like the universe is not perfect, and there's going to be a mishap. Like some stuff will just not react for some reason, or you'll have excess material that's just a little bit off, which, you know, we actually owe our entire existence in this universe to the fact that things aren't perfectly like oriented, because when the initial Big Bang happened, it effectively created matter and antimatter, which is just matter but reverse polarity. And so when matter and antimatter collide, they explode and annihilate each other. But because there was slightly more matter than antimatter, we have a universe with matter in it. Like literally everything we have in our entire universe is the leftover that wasn't annihilated by antimatter in the first few thousand years of this universe's existence, which is freaking crazy. Could have just solved the problem with ease. I hate to say it, but they're right to call her a genius. She's also fresh on the uptake. I mean, I probably could have easily walked them through that as well, like in high school or like even when I was in college and having just been more recently studying. But off the top of my head, I can't think of the number. I used to have it memorized, but it's been so long I've forgotten it. I need to go. I'm going back to school soon. I need to get ready. I'm gonna do so bad.
わあ、すごいね。もうできちゃった。
確かに正解だな。俺もその答えを出そうとしていたのだ。
No. Just no.
あれ？なんか違うわ。ああ、この式が間違ってる。
Uh-oh.
確かに間違っているな。俺もそれを指摘しようとしていたのだ。
And she'd be like, no, actually it's perfectly fine.
気が散るからちょっと黙ってて。
何を？
そうか。酸素の原子量は 15.994 なんだから、酸化マグネシウムの中の酸素とマグネシウムの質量を求めて。
Okay, well, see, and so like the way you work through that, you know, if you got the atomic weight and you know how much, you need to know how much oxygen and magnesium. So you find out like what the ratio is between the two based on magnesium oxide, because you know the weight of the molar weight of magnesium oxide, you have the molar rate of oxygen, and you probably have a solid number. Say you know exactly how much magnesium oxide you have, so you have like 30 grams. You also know the ratio between the two, because I don't know off the top of my head, but magnesium oxide is probably MgO2, but I'm not 100% obviously on that. But if it were MgO2 and you have the amount of weight you have, you then calculate what's the molarity of it going to be. So the oxygen, 2 oxygens plus a magnesium, you get that. Then you can convert them from their molar weight based on the proportions and divide it out, and then you get the molarity, the leftover of whatever the oxygen and magnesium is, and with their proportions you can then tell how much of each product you have in order to get the eventual conclusion. It's pretty much just algebra, which is the really funny thing, is like when you go into algebra and you're learning it for the first time, it's always frustrating. You're always like, why are all these letters in here? Well, the letters are just teaching you how to think in units rather than just numbers, because thinking in units, you can use them in practical things like chemistry, where you can't just say magnesium and oxygen are the same. They can't be like combined in that regard until they become magnesium oxide, but like that's a chemical process. But it helps you keep the ratios together and helps you think in patterns that are helpful. Again, it's one of those things where like math teachers always seem to fail to help explain that. that like while it seems odd to just memorize all these formula and like memorize all these methods of dealing math, it's actually preparing you to be able to actually understand what the science side of things are, because you know the math is the answer to how we had problems with in science, like understanding our universe, and math is like the language in which we express rational aspects of the universe. And then we can use these formula that people have derived through trial and error to quickly find answers that they struggled to find way back in the day. It's brilliant. It's amazing. And the fact that we can even do so much to be able to accurately be able to do things like launch rockets to other planets. Like the calculations necessary to do that, when you have to incorporate the fact that literally, like if we're sending a rocket to Mars, you have to calculate not only like the speed of the Earth, the speed the rocket has to take not only to leave the Earth's atmosphere, but to leave the Earth's orbit, and the movement of Mars in like relation to Earth. And you have to calculate all of that to make sure that you send your rocket to a place where Mars will be in like 9 months rather than where it is. And you not only have to like aim for it, but you have to aim for it in the right way to make sure you can achieve a stable orbit, and then be able to decelerate to be able to actually land on the planet in a specified area in which you want to, all ahead of time, because you can't just make things up as you go, because it takes way too much energy to do so and you have a very limited amount. You do that with math. Math is like the binder of all things advanced and amazing. So like, yeah, it sucks. Are you going to use a ton of this math every day of your life? Most likely not. But it's giving you the fundamental tools you need to do so should you choose. It's kind of like, I think, grammar. I mean, most of us aren't ever going to be involved in a job or career where we're going to be like making money or dependent on our ability to speak properly or write properly. But by understanding the fundamentals, we can be prepared for that opportunity should it come around. I don't know. It's one of the things you should never take for granted. Like, math is important, even if it's frustrating and you feel like you're never going to use it, like as you grew up. It's still learning a fundamental language that can help you if you choose to take that path. And even if you don't, you can understand, at least to a basic level, how scientists are deriving such things as understanding of the chemical or the physical world.
Ma.
ところでまゆり、衣装の方は大丈夫なのか？明日に間に合わせたいんだろう？
多分平気。あとはボタンとか小物の仕上げだけだから。
Good. Saying that, Mayuri stood up and held the costume in front of her in her arms. Lukako looked at her as well. Mayuri spread the costume and showed it to us.
どうかなどうかな。
It was a white costume that looked like a military uniform for a male character. Ooh, that sounds cool. Alright, I always end up accidentally erasing the characters printed on the keys. Yeah, your fingers. Yeah, I remember my first cell phone, I definitely did that. It was a Razor flip phone. But you totally type without anything beyond the keys, right? According to her, it belongs to a character in a popular video game for girls called Tsukihana, or Tsukihana yo Yaiba. Sounds like a otome game. I haven't played it myself, but I could tell that Mayuri's handmade costume was the work of a pro.
さすがまゆりだ。
とっても綺麗にできてるね。
楓ちゃん喜んでくれるかな。
Kaede-chan is one of Mayuri's cosplay friends. I've heard lots of stories about her, but we've never met. Katie Sue, do you want to try it on?
お？どうしたクリスティーナ？この衣装が何か？
それより人が一生懸命問題を解いてるのに二人とも真面目にやってないでしょ。
ごめんねクリスちゃん。
ごめんなさい。
Oh, come on. Like, Okabe was distracting you. It's not your fault. Mayuri and Lukako hurry back to their homework, where they spent the next 2 hours asking Kurisu questions about their homework. With her help, they managed to work their way through the brunt of it.
これでどうかな?
Yeah. Okay. I can, but it looks lame. Oh, yeah, that's perfectly a good excuse.
クリスちゃんありがと
And I can't say, like, how many of you had to learn was it T9? Like, it's like how you, like the predictive texting on like a keypad rather than like an actual, like all the keys are available. Like you had to use the numbers and like multiple taps to cycle through the different letters that you could do. I remember really being good at it eventually, like getting so fast. But like for the life of me, like I don't really know how I did it that fast, because if I tried today, I know I would just like, I would probably pick it up okay, but still, it's like, it's amazing that we were able to get that efficient at it, and yet we struggled with things like math.
おかげさまで今日のノルマ終わりました。私もいろいろと勉強になったわ。
Oh,
科学も
really?
なかなか面白いわね。
Yeah, it is. It is actually kind of cool because chemistry and physics are kind of the same side of the same coin. Blech. Physics is all about like using math to talk about like macro and micro sides of the physical universe. Chemistry focuses on the micro side, but on like reactions and energy and everything. It's just cool. And I actually love one of my favorite things is balancing formula. Like knowing, like if I know the what I'm mixing and the product it's creating, and you know and you can see the ratios, you can kind of find out like exactly how much you have of each one. Like I liked that. Like it was just fun balancing those equations.
面白いかな。
マキセさんはやっぱりすごいですね。すごくなんてないわ。どんなことでも興味を持ってやればうまくいくものよ。好きこそものの上手なれって言うでしょ。
I wish that were always true. There's a lot that I like that I'm rubbish.
例えばほら、斎藤はじめの衣装だってマユリが楽しんで作ってるからそんなに出来がいいんじゃないかしら。
Okay, this year you know this, huh?
あ、確かにそうですね。マユリちゃん、いつも楽しそう。
とっても。
まあ。
Yeah.
何岡部、変な顔して。
Yeah, he's got the smirk, huh?
クリスティーナよ。今何と言った？
え？
斎藤はじめ。確かにそう言ったな。
言ったけど。
Ah, gotcha! Could have clapped her hands over her mouth, but it was too late.
貴様、その衣装が新選組の斎藤はじめのものだとなぜわかる？
それはマユリが説明してくれたでしょ？
No, she didn't.
いいや、キャラ名までは説明していない。事実、貴様の口から聞くまで俺は斎藤はじめの衣装だと知らなかった。
Uh-oh. Huh? I had noticed Kiritsu looking intensely at the costume from time to time. And that got me thinking.
クリスティーナよ、ついにそっち方面にも手を出したか。
そっち方面って何よ。私はただ純粋に幕末が好きなだけだから。
Ooh, that sounds kind of cool, actually. Dang, I want to see this costume.
ああ、そうかそうか。
なんかムカつくその態度。
How are you so annoying?
クリスちゃん、もしかして月花が好きなの？
たまたまネットで話題になってたからちょっと興味を持っただけよ。別にファンとかそういうんじゃないわ。
That's actually how I pick up a decent amount of my anime. Like, if you see enough memes, you're like, okay, I probably should see this show. Like, I want to know what they're coming from.
マユシーはね、衣装を作るためにゲームをプレイしてたらすっかりハマっちゃったよ。高杉晋作さんとかすごくかっこいいよね。
Ooh.
高杉？あれはちょっと美形に描きすぎだと思う。もうちょっとひょうひょうとしてた方がいいんじゃないの？
Yeah, you're really a fan.
だったら桂小五郎さんとか。
バス、そもそも私は長州より新選組だから。
Ooh. This goes beyond looking into this a little. It's a pure fan conversation. This is reminding me of conversations about like Fire Emblem Three houses. Like which houses do you like the most? What is it, like the Crimson Eagles? It's definitely Eagles, but yeah, Edelgard's the best, by the way.
ねえねえクリスちゃん、だったら一緒にコミマ行かない？
え？
月花のコスプレイヤーさんがたくさんいるし、本もいっぱい出てるよ。
Oh, do it. Good to see you. Know you want to.
あー
Come on.
でも
Oh, come on. You can even wear a costume. No one to know who you are.
何をためらっている？言ってくればいいではないか。そして煩悩のままにその手の本を買い漁ってくるのだ、クリフティーナよ。
You are. Go away, Okabe. Come on.
おい
Hoi. I do think I'm really holding out, but I actually get my first vaccination shot today. So I'm really, really, really hoping I'm gonna go to a convention this year. I really want to do it. Because if I do manage to start making that a thing, I'm totally doing my Okabe cosplay. I really think I can pull it off this time.
Look!
Ah! Because she drew her sword and prepared to slash me, or so I thought, but she was attacking me with the floor sweeper from the corner of the room. I took an empty plastic bottle from under the table and used it to defend myself. This would be the best thing ever to watch. We stared at each other with our weapons.
今とんでもないことを言ったわよね。
Uh-huh.
何のことだ？知らんな
その減らず口二度と聞けないようにしてくれるわ。
Kusu and I tried to hit each other with our household items. There's a sound of plastic on plastic as they collide. She's gonna win, bro. She's got reach and she's got viability. You have a plastic bottle.
ああ、いいな。まゆしんも月花ごっこに参加したい。
これってごっこなの？まゆりちゃん？
だっておかりんもクリスちゃんも楽しそうだよ。
そうかな。
この
本気で叩くのはクリフティーナ。
Yeah, yeah. I think Okabe was kind of playing. She's not. She's like genuinely wanting to hurt him a little bit.
だからその呼び方はやめろ。
As our battle raged on, Lukuko gave up trying to stop us and started reading a fashion magazine. Mayuri returned to making the costume, and the atmosphere in the lab settled into its usual lazy afternoon self. Then, I don't know how much later, around the time the sunlight started to take on an orange tint.
それじゃあ僕、そろそろ家の手伝いがあるので帰りますね。
Oh, okay.
おう。
ルカくん、またね。
Lukuko started to put away his homework and magazines into his tote bag. Then, as he approached the door, he turned to us.
いけない。大事なことを忘れてました。
What's up?
実はですね、チラシを持ってきたんです。
For what? Lukuko takes some papers out of his bag.
何のチラシなの？
お祭りです。
お祭り？
Yeah, festival. Ah, that looks fun. Yanabayashi Shrine Summer Festival. Lukuko passed out flyers and we got a good look at them. They say that there's a festival at and around the Yanabayashi Shrine that's August 20th and 21st.
あー、すごいね。ルカくんの神社でお祭りなんて。
Look, 2021. It's a sign. We're playing this in the perfect year. It's all coming together.
去年までこんなことやってたか？
いえ、今年初めてなんです。うちは小さな神社なので、特にお祭りとかやってこなかったんですが。
Hey, well, I mean, will you have a massive turnout? Probably not, but hey, that's cool. Lukuko's dad came up with the idea, hoping it'll help revitalize the economy of the local businesses.
ラボのみんなで、ぜひ遊びに来てください。
That sounds fun.
楽しみにしてるわ。アメリカじゃこういうお祭りは経験できないから。
Yeah, well, okay, we kind of do, but definitely not in the small scale like that. Like, usually it's like one big shindig that happens. The closest thing would be farmers markets, which we'll have like all the time, but they're pretty small and they're usually not associated with like a particular event or particular things. It's just like small business owners coming together to sell stuff. Love them though, love them. Yeah, I want to go to some festivals.
他の連中にも話しておこう。まゆりも行くよな。
それがね。
Uh-oh. That one the shoot is?
どうした？
ちょっと無理かも。
Aw.
2日ともか？
うん。20日にね、おばあちゃんの法事があるんだ。
Oh, fetch. Yeah, forgot about that.
Oh.
I was lost for words for a second. I feared that I might have pushed a little too far. Mayuri's grandma. She loved Mayuri from the bottom of her heart from the moment she was born, and Mayuri loved her right back. When she passed away 6 years ago, Mayuri emotionally shut down from the shock. I will never forget it as long as I live. Little Mayuri standing alone in the pouring rain in front of her grandma's gravestone. She was looking up at the heavens as if she were talking to her grandma's soul. Mayuri didn't answer me at all when I tried to talk to her. She wouldn't even look at me, no matter how many times I called out to her. She was just gazing up at the sky. I was worried at that moment that Mayuri might also get called up to heaven. That foolish anxiety kept me rooted in place. Suddenly, a ray of light called an angel's ladder broke through the clouds, and the wind swirled. Mayuri reached out to the sky, and it looked like her tiny body floated into the air. She's going to disappear right into the sky. I held on to her with all I had, refusing to let her go, and made her your hostage.
そっか。それじゃあお祭りなんていう気分じゃないよな。
ああ、うん。それはもう大丈夫。
Oh, curses! I didn't mean to click that. Mayuri smiled and said, "Thank you, Okabe. I'm really fine now." One more time.
法事だけじゃなくてね、ちょっと家で用があるんだ。ごめんね、ルカ君。
ううん、気にしないで。
なら、まゆりのために何か土産でもゲットしてやるか。射的とかあるんだろ？
はい、多分。
天才スナイパーとしての腕が鳴るな。
Oh yeah, sniper, huh?
また口先ばっかりなんだから風船すくいぐらいにしといたら。
Yeah, that's fair.
口先だけかどうか勝負してみるか？プールでの決着はちょっとしたアクシデントでうやむやになったからな。
Oh yeah, sure, because you totally didn't nearly die.
いいわよ別に。
I hadn't seen Kurushi this happy since we were planning for the swimming pool. She must be excited for the festival. She also just wants to destroy you.
せっかくだから私浴衣とか着てみようかな。
Ah, yes, please.
クリスちゃん似合いそうだね。
そうかな。ありがとう。
As they talked, I walked over to the fridge with the flyer in hand.
このチラシ、ここに貼っておくからな。
Now that it's secured within the magnets, all the lab means who enter should be able to see it.
まゆし、ちょっと書きたい。
Yeah? Mayuri took out a marker pen and drew. Come on, put on your yukata and let's meet up at Lukako's shrine. A crudely drawn character in white, just about 3 heads tall. Come on, put on your yukata and meet up at Lukako's shrine. So, like, for this, like, the translator, like, were they able to, like, redraw, like, these words? Or was it, because, like, I'm assuming it would have been in, you know, Japanese, or maybe, like, you know, kanji at least.
ってこれはまさか俺か？
Yeah.
へへ、似てる？
Yeah, yeah, look at that. She's captured you perfectly, man. I mean, like, there's nothing else that you can really say.
すごいそっくり。
上手だね、まゆりちゃん。
I have to admit, they have a point. It does kind of look like me. What do I say? Not at all!
この法王院京馬がさあ浴衣を着てルカ子の神社に集合するのだなどというかバカ者。
I think you would.
ねえ、まゆりちゃん。僕にもそのイラスト1枚描いてくれない？神社の一番目立つところに貼っておきたいな。
Oh, no!
いいよ。
ダメだ。
I quickly stopped Lukako from taking out another flyer. Ooh, Stardust Duplet.
うわー、疲れた。心地よい疲れだお。
Yeah, was the haul good this year? Daru showed up late at night on the very last day of ComiMa with both hands filled with bags. He then laid down on the sofa like a seal.
ほんと疲れたね、ダルくん。足が棒みたいだよ。
Aw, Mayuri, did you at least have fun though?
あ、ごめんまゆし。ここ座って。
大丈夫。
Mayuri, who had also just returned from ComiMa, sat down on the floor and tapped her legs. She'd finished her costume on day 1 of ComiMa, so she spent the entire days 2 and 3 at Tokyo Big Sight.
コミマか。バイトがなければ私もちょっと顔出してみたかったな。
Aw, that sucks. Suzaha, who had entered the lab after she'd finished her shift downstairs, seemed curious.
ダメダメ。ちょっと顔を出してみたかったな程度の軽い気持ちじゃ返り討ちに合う。
Probably.
そうなの？
欲しい本やグッズを求めてオタク同士が血で血を洗う戦場だからね。
Like, the sad thing is, I want to say it's, like, obviously not a real battlefield, but, I mean, from what I hear in Japan, it kind of is. Like, people can get nasty there, apparently, and, like, tramplings probably happen. Ugh.
へえ。
僕くらいベテランになると司令塔を任されることもあってさ。全部隊が必要な品を効率よく手に入れられるよう緻密な作戦を練らなきゃならないんだ。
Mm-hmm.
橋田至って実はすごいんだね。
そういうことになるかな。あははは。
Daru proudly made his dubious statement, but Suzaha seemed to believe him and looked amazed. Just then, a drowsy-looking Kurisu emerged from behind the curtain to the development room.
あれ、クリスちゃんだ。
Did she end up going at all, or is she just working on something?
マキセ氏いたんだ。
仮眠を取ってたの。実験でちょっと徹夜しちゃってね。
When Kurisu arrived at the lab yesterday evening, she was exhausted. It almost looked like she'd slept the whole time.
まだ眠い。コーヒーでも飲もうかな。
She took a couple steps toward the coffee maker and suddenly stopped.
あいたたたたた。
Fetch, you okay? Kurisu put her hands on her thigh and groaned.
どうした？
Wait, she did go to ComiMa, didn't she?
なんでもない。
She totally went to ComiMa.
なんでもないという割には随分足が痛そうだな。
なんでもないったら。
So she did, but after a few steps, she stopped and groaned again.
マキセ氏、なんだか僕と同じだね。僕も歩くたびにももとか痛くって。
Yeah, Ferris. Ferris! We're having another Ferris Cup at Me Queen. Want to come, Yan? Oh, that sounds fun. Ferris Cup, isn't that the RailNet tournament? Yonin Kyoma is not so foolish to compete in a competition he knows he cannot win. Plus, I don't know how to play RailNet. Daru realized something while saying that, and he looked right at Kurisu. I did too.
何よ。
We caught ya.
クリスティーナよ。お
Uh-huh,
前今日。
言ってないぞ。ビッグサイトなど言ってない。
Methinks thou dost protest too much. She's so obvious. Daru and I nearly end up calling her out on it. This girl could never be a villain.
クリスちゃん、本当？
本当に言ってない。
それじゃああれは見間違いだったのかな。
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
マユシーが月花の刃のサークルさんとお話ししてたらね、クリスちゃんによく似た人が本をいっぱい持って歩いてたんだ。
Yeah, she totally did.
ほほー。
Oh.
声をかけようと思ったらすごいスピードで行っちゃったの。
And here's the thing. Like, normally, if I were, like, actually here at the lab, like, whatever. Like, you do what you do, obviously. Why would we care? Half of us go there tons anyway, and the other half probably are somewhat fans of that kind of otaku stuff. I mean, that's kind of what we are. But with her being so adamant that she has no idea what we're talking about and wants nothing to do with it, And then to have her like be called out like this, like I'd be so dogpiling on that. I'd be like, oh, we got you. Oh, you can feel the smugness of his face.
気のせいよ。だいたい買った本なんてないでしょ。ほら。
Let's go check the development room.
本を買いすぎて帰りに宅配便使うのはデフォじゃね？
Yeesh. I knew it, Christina. No, Christina.
そんな生温かい目で見るな。
He's got that smug look on his face. Kurisu turned and headed for the lab exit, but she stopped about a few steps, grabbing her leg and miserably muttered, "Ugh." After that, she came clean and started to talk about the lost blade and on the couch with Mayuri. Suzuha joined them and oohed and awed at Kurisu's expansive knowledge. I didn't understand most of what they were saying, but the three seemed to be having fun.
ねえ、まゆり、あまねさん。よければなんだけど、今夜私の部屋に泊まっていかない？
That sounds amazing!
いろいろ見せたいものもあるし、もっとおしゃべりしたいなーって。
Kurisu had probably been holding on her Lost Blade fandom this entire time. Nobody could talk that much without storing it up.
見せたいもの？
実は昨日ね、月花の素敵なフィギュアを手に入れたの。
Ooh.
ってお前、昨日もコミマ行ってたのか？
Okay, so here's the thing. Like, I was, perusing my phone as usual, and I got, you get pre-order ads. They're targeted ads. It's just the way things are, sadly. But I was going through, and an ad popped up in an app I was using. I think it might have been YouTube, actually. But it was a Crunchyroll ad. But, because the Crunchyroll, one of the side things they do are collectibles. And it had some examples of some collectibles that were going to be, like, on pre-release. Like, you could pre-order and stuff. And one of them was a Kurisu figure that's coming out soon. And I paused, and for the first time in my life I was like, how much would that cost? And I went and checked the cost, and I realized I was like, I am this close to buying my very first figure ever, because up till now I've always thought it was just like, they're kind of fun, but like just too much money, and I just don't have enough. But like lately, like, things have been going, like, not channel wise, the channel doesn't make any money, but like with my personal spending, I just hadn't had anything I needed to buy recently. I think the most recent purchase was Monster Hunter Rise, and so like I just hadn't spent my money for this month yet, like that I allot myself for spending. And I saw it and I was this close to buying it. I was just like, maybe someday I'll start collecting them for real. But like, to be honest, like, I'm not entirely sure I'd even have a place to display them, and if I can't display them, I don't really know what I want to do with them anyway. But it was nice to know that my collection was nearly started by Kurisu.
いいだろ別に。あと、女の子同士の会話を盗み聞くな。
Oh, come on, we're in the same room. I don't even have to try it. I have to plug my ears.
この距離じゃ嫌でも聞こえる。
ヘッドフォンで音楽でも聞いてろ。
Okay, that's just not fair.
あのな。
Wait, I have an idea for a new future gadget. How about headphones that eliminate the voice of a particular person based on the regular noise-canceling headphones? So it's like a tuned pair of noise-canceling headphones. I could block out Kurisu forever. Sounds like it could be canceled out with the exact opposite sound displayed against it. Noise-canceling headphones use this mechanic to shut out sounds around the user. Canceling out human voices or certain special sounds is still very difficult. Yeah, but it's cool. Noise-canceling headphones are pretty neat. Another one of those things, again, I'm not sure if I'd ever put the money into, because frankly, I think I'd be fine without it. But you know what? Now that I'm like getting seriously geared up about like making a trip to Japan, like I'm really hoping that I'll actually be able to do it 2022. Like when like the pandemic's over, things settle down, it's a very real possibility I could actually do it around that time. So for that trip and the flight out, at least, I might want to get myself a pair. That way, I won't get bothered when Christine is grumbling at me. No matter how hard she might try to criticize me, it would all be in vain. This is good. You're not ready for this, Celeb Seb.
何人の顔見てニヤニヤしてんのよ、気持ち悪いよ。
Yeah, I'm sure he is. Oh, wrong one. Ferris. Then Ferris will teach you how to play. Oh, she wants to. I'd be like, heck yes! I'm currently preoccupied with trying to bring chaos to the world. Do you really think I have time for fun and games? When my job is done, maybe I'll take you up on that offer, but for now.
今のうちに何度でも言っておけ。未来ガジェット12号機サイレンス・オブ・ゴールドが完成した暁には全て無駄なあがきになるのだからだ。
またわけのわからんことを。
Yeah.
で、どうするまゆり？これから私の部屋来る？
どうしようかな。
I don't know why, but Mary looks at me. She doesn't seem to have any response to hold back for my sake, so why? Unsure what to make of this weird feeling, I nod toward Mayuri.
マユリよ、行ってきたらいい。たまにはクリフティーナのおた話に付き合ってやる。
その呼び方はやめい。
じゃあそうしようかな。お母さんに聞いてみるね。
Mayuri took out her cell phone and called her mom. Why was she so hesitant, though?
あまねさんは？
私も明日のバイトに間に合えば OK。
よーし、決まったわね。
Yeah. Kudishi smiled.
ということでオカリン、ちょっと行ってくるからあとよろしくな。
Ha ha ha! Funny, funny!
あんたは呼んどらん。
僕も月花に関してはかなり熱く語れますよ。
どうせ中澤ことたんはあはあとかそういうことだろ。
Nakazawa Kota, let me guess, is she the lolly one? The lone female swordswoman said to have been a part of the Rushigumi. According to the record, she had mastered the art of the Naginata. Okay, so she's actually like from history. Okay, my bad. I don't know any of this. Under the tutelage of her father in his dojo in Ueno, due to her tremendous beauty and height, it was said that women found her attractive when she was dressed as a member of the Rushigumi, when men found her stunning when she was in her casual clothes. Ah, okay, I get you. Is that a real thing? That's kind of cool. Like, if that's actually based on a real like historical figure, and they actually had like a swordswoman who was highly respected in that regard, that's very progressive for like the ancient times. Well, not even ancient times, the Edo period.
コトタンはハーハーの方じゃないよ。バーニングの方の萌えなんだよ。なめるな。
Okay.
嘘だね。あんたこの前粘土ドールプチお風呂ことたん注文してただろ。
Okay, see, super popular SD figure, anime, manga, and gaming characters, these tend to be about half the size of normal figures. Since the product line kicked off, the figures have exploded in popularity, making it hard to find them in store shelves. This has resulted in high prices online auction sites. Over 3 million Nendodoru petite figures have been sold since the line began.
僕が悪いんじゃない。僕の中の煩悩がいけないんだ。
That's not my fault, it's just my fault.
だったら頭の中いじくって煩悩を消してあげましょうか。
Yep, she can cut them out. She knows where they are.
マキセ氏、目が本気だ。怖え。
Yeah, you should be scared. I don't think it's an idle threat.
とにかく変態はお断りだから。
別に使用済みタオルの匂いを嗅いだりしないよ。
No.
絶対に来んな。
Yeah, because the fact that you even have the thought is the problem. Kudishi refused Daru and stood up from the couch. Mayuri got approval from her mom, and she stood up with Suzuha.
ねえオカリ、荷物置いといてもいいかな。明日の朝家へ帰る前に寄るから。
Yeah, no worries. Mayuri pointed at the cart in the large bag. I believe she had a costume and books in them.
もう構わんぞ。
助かるよ。重くて今日はもう持てません。それじゃあオカリ、また明日ね。
あ、気をつけてな。
Mayuri, Kudishi, and Suzuha left the lab, talking to each other and having fun.
しゃーね、僕も今日は帰って寝るよ。
Daru stood up, yawning.
もう帰るのか？
徹夜続きだろ。そろそろ限界。
Makes sense. Oh, but he was full of energy when he was offering to head over to Kudishi's. Well, of course he was.
んじゃ。
Bye-bye. Daru's big body disappeared out the door. I heard him groaning in pain with each step down the stairs. Been there, bro. Been there. Well, guess it's just us. Silence in the lab. It suddenly feels so empty. It makes me uncomfortable.
前売り目。荷物なんか置いていくから、俺だけ帰れないではないか。
Work on a gadget, But we'll leave him up to his shenanigans for next week. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I appreciate you being here. This is a very pleasant one. Nothing too surprising or exciting happening, but it's definitely laying the groundwork for a lot of very cool things coming up in the future. We got the shrine experience, being able to go to that. So if we do, I have no idea exactly how that's going to pan out. And then is Mayuri going to do the modeling? I don't know why, but I get the feeling this ending is going to be longer than the other ones that we've had so far. Like, I just have it, I just feel like we're not even close to the end at this point. So let's keep enjoying, kick it back, relax, and just kind of cruise on through. So thank you guys so much for spending your time with me. Thank you to the patrons who are so awesome and being so supportive directly of the channel. Again, you guys are wonderful, and every little bit that you give is going to be used to help make the channel better, more customized, and more enjoyable. I got some interesting stuff I've decided to try and consider for the next patron cast, so make sure you don't miss that. We might be playing with fire a little bit on the channel in the next few parts, but I got something in mind that might be really enjoyable, so I want to test the waters and see what you guys think. But we'll get to all of that later. And of course, for anyone else who's just listening to this, if you want, please join the Discord. It's a good place to chat. I can respond fairly regularly if you ever want to just like toss something my way. Plus, it's just, we get together a lot of like minds and we can just share whatever was on our minds. And it's a fun place to be. So links in the description down below if you want to do that. Also, Patreon's down there if you want to like give a tip or help support the channel, like whatever you want to do. Be awesome. And of course, keep in mind, if you become a patron even for just 1 month, like you just make one payment and you're done, just I think it's like $1. Like frankly, that's more than any revenue I get from people just watching my videos. But I also like don't want to spam a bunch of ads because I don't make this content to fill ad time. So if you ever want to do that and support the channel directly, you get access to the Patreon cast for life. So like if you ever just want to do a one and done, that's a great way to support the channel and just move past that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for being a part of the channel. As always, it's a pleasure having you here. And until next video, watching me up. See me next. I'll see you there.